Rich Rising. Welcome to another day of Read Rich and Righteous. We're reading Rich and Righteous, Spiritual Secrets and Mastering Money Manifestation in Your Mind. We are on day 64 of our journey, and today we are reading the chapter on how do you charge? How much do you charge? How much do you charge? And we are in money commandment number 9, which is how the rich and righteous attract money. And so we are going to be looking at money from an electrical standpoint, understanding that it is currency, that it does have a current. And if we can understand a little bit about electricity, then it's actually going to give us some insight in terms of how money actually operates and works. And so I'm excited about this. I see people typing in their consistency scores. I see people in the 60s, the 50s. I see some 40s, and then I see some newcomers. And if you're brand new to this experience, to this 100-day money mindset reprogram, you can go to richrightnow.com, and sign up for the challenge for absolutely free. On the thank you page, you can get the ebook or audio ebook and audiobook, or the physical copy and audiobook, and you will also get all the replays that you may have missed as we've been doing these live readings at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every weekday for the past, 13 and a half weeks now? 13 and a half weeks. We only have a week and a half left. It's been absolutely amazing, and I'm excited. Today we have a reading that is relatively short, and so I want to get right into it, and we call this Wealthy Wednesdays. We don't call it Hump Day as if we're trying to get over something. We actually want to experience this life, and we are meant to have life and have it more abundantly. Rich and Righteous graduation is coming up in about 2 weeks on Saturday, December 9th. You can sign up for that at rrgraduation.com. We'll have 150 people live in Atlanta. I think those seats are almost taken up, so make sure you go see if there's any more availability. All the people who come to the event in Atlanta live will be getting the thank account as a gift. I will be doing the reading of the final chapter. We'll have some test of monies where people share their testimonies about what has occurred for them over this 100-day experience. And we'll be doing a book signing and an exercise from the Rituals workbook. And so excited to meet you all in person. I know the community has been fighting for that, not fighting for it, but desiring that as we tried to build community in YouTube, in the chat, and then also in our Mighty Networks. And if you aren't in the Mighty Networks community, make sure you tap into that, okay? And so let's get into the reading. We are on page 349. We have about 3.5 pages today. And so type I got it when you got it, and we're going to get right into it, all right? All right, the chapter is how much do you charge? How much do you charge? And the scripture for the day is 1 Timothy 6:17, and it says, charge them that are rich in this world, that they are not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living God, who giveth us richly all things to enjoy. All right. And so you see the first word there is charge them, right? And when you charge something, you're charging your phone. I might charge my Tesla, right? We're giving it energy. We're giving it power. And so let's explore what that looks like when it comes to money and see what we can learn from that. We know that money is stored energy, and energy has positive, neutral, or negative charge. We use the word charge when it comes to money, right? Which indicates that subconsciously we realize that it is a form of energy. You charge your card, right? They charge your card for that item that you bought. How much do you charge? Charge it to my card. Interest charges. Discharge a bankruptcy. We also use charge in other contexts. We charge our phones. You might be in charge of a team or task. Or if someone disses you, you might listen to I'm Charged Up by Drake. Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. If you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And I know that some people have issues with interchanging God and the universe. God created the universe, and the universal laws are the laws by which God operates. This is why they are just, okay? The law of gravity doesn't care. It's not about morals. And that's really what people have challenged with. The law of gravity is not about morals. It's going to respond to whoever is using it, regardless of their moral character. Somebody could have murdered somebody yesterday, and gravity is going to respond the same. Somebody could be Mother Teresa, and gravity is going to respond the same. Universal laws actually don't have morals connected to them. And if you look at Genesis, and we talked about this before, if you look at Genesis, Adam and Eve ate of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So the moment we get into a moral conversation, thinking we know what is right or wrong because we digested the tree of knowledge of good and evil, that's where we actually get into this gray area and where I think our human species has gone wrong. And this is why you see us fighting wars and things of that nature over morals, thinking we know what's right versus somebody else. What we want to understand is universal laws, which are just, because we know that God is not a respecter of persons. Why? Because these universal laws, they apply equally to everyone regardless of morals. This is why you can see people who are not doing righteous work, right, still be wealthy, because the laws operate the same. Right. And so what we're trying to do now is show that we can understand these laws and use them while also holding our moral character. And that is the combination that we are seeking to have here. And so let's keep on going on page 349. You are an electrical entity, a conductor, and money is one of the currencies that God uses to flow through you. In the Abundance book, John Randolph Price created an acronym for money, MONEY. He said, money is my own natural energy yield. Everybody type that. Money is my own natural energy yield. Okay? It puts the focus inwardly back on us and how we create and conduct energy, which is currency. I'm a conductor of money in both senses of the word. I conduct or lead it like a train conductor based on my train of thought. Okay. I'm going to repeat that. I conduct or lead this money. I tell it what to do like a train conductor based on what? My train of thought. I also conduct it like electricity since it is just stored energy. In physics, electrical engineering, a conductor is an object or type of material that allows the flow of charge, which is electrical current, in one or more directions. Okay? The direction I choose is righteousness, which is good, positive, and in alignment with God. When we understand money as stored energy, the dictionary definition of the word charge takes on an entirely new meaning spiritually, energetically, and financially. Consider all the same vocabulary used for money that we also use for chemistry. When electricity moves, we say it has a current, and we call money what? Currency. We charge money to an account. A debit is a positive charge, and a credit is a negative charge, just like atoms. On a balance sheet, positive transactions are debited, and negative transactions are credited. You can have bad credit or good credit, depending on your positive or negative transactions. A bond is a fixed income instrument that represents a loan made by an investor to a borrower. A covalent bond is a chemical bond that involves the sharing of electron pairs between atoms. Atoms also borrow electrons when they are unbalanced and don't have enough, just like people can borrow debt when they don't have enough money and their balance sheet is off, right? So are you seeing the parallels and really understanding? I really want you to understand that this is stored energy, right? We see money as this physical substance, but in reality, it's just stored energy. And if we understand its true nature and we understand energy and how it works, then we can have mastery over money. Okay, so we are taking some of these subjects from STEM, right? I wasn't too much of a science person. I was more math person. Really love numbers, but understanding the physics, right? Last week we talked about the definition of work. We went into the physics definition of work, right? Force times distance. Here we're starting to understand some electrical engineering on the very basic level, because that's only going to help us understand this more when we know that it's stored energy. And then how do we understand? And then we understand how energy actually flows and how we can be better conductors. Right. So are you seeing how all of this ties together? So everything that we learned in high school wasn't useless. All right. Bottom paragraph on page 350. How much do you charge? This is a spiritual and financial question, but typically we only hear it in a financial context when it comes to buying products and services. In any transaction or interaction, a charge and change are taking place. Okay. Any interaction, a charge is taking place. Each transaction is either increasing your positive charge or decreasing it. Each transaction is either increasing your positive charge or decreasing it, right? Last week, we also talked about expensive versus expansive, and we said that if it's expensive, it is a cost. But if it is expansive, it is a cause that will have a positive effect in my life. It will charge me positively, right? From the consumer's perspective, how much do you charge is not just asking about price. It is really asking, how much will you positively charge me if I give you this money, right? If I believe that the positive charge you will give me will be greater than the price you were asking for, we will exchange energy and a transaction of currency will occur, right? So if I believe that this book, right? If I believe that this book that you are selling is actually more valuable to me and will create more positivity in my life than this $100 just being in my possessions, then I will exchange this $100 with you for this book, right? So this is how it works. We're really asking, how much will you positively, or how much will this thing positively charge my life? If we look at how we use money from an energetic standpoint, we would use it differently. On a spiritual level, how much do you charge? On a spiritual level, how much you charge is how much personal power do you feel you have? How much do you positively charge anything or anyone in your world or sphere of influence? What is your impact on others and your environment? Are you a product of your environment, or do you create your environment? Do you work for money, or does money work for you? You can only rule that which you have power over. You can only rule that which you have power over. You become a god when you claim dominion over the physical environment around you, and the spiritual environment and energy within you, and the financial instrument and energy that operates as an intermediary between the two is called money. Okay? So I'm going to repeat that. You become a god, lowercase God, when you claim dominion, which Adam was given dominion, right, over the physical environment around you, the spiritual environment and energy within you, which is the greatest currency in the world, and the financial instrument and energy that operates as an intermediary between the two, called money, right? And we know that money is an intermediary between the two because it helps us turn thoughts into actual physical things. We can use this resource. We don't always need money to do that, but we do need energy. And if money is just stored energy, it fits in the realm of energy. Of course, the greatest energy being in our body. So, okay. So money is an inert spiritual substance, meaning that it has no charge, right? In this form, money has no charge whatsoever. You have the power to give it a positive charge or a negative charge to money. It is charged positively or negatively based on your personal charge and your personal use. So if you are a positive person, you're likely going to charge the money that comes to you and through you in a positive way. But you can be a positive person and you can actually use the money in a way that is negative, right? But what we want to do is we want to take the positive charge that is in our lives as righteous folks, and we want to also use the money for the greatest good possible. A positive person can use money for negativity, and a negative person can use money for positivity. So we see people who have acquired money through negative means, but they contribute to philanthropy, right? It's a little bit of a guilt trip, right? Ideally, as a rich and righteous, we want to be positive and use money for positivity. Money can be the motive and manifestation of massive good and massive bad. All right. So we typically think that money is only the result of doing massive bad to the world and to other people. But it can be, we want to demonstrate that it can be the result of massive good as well. Man created money. Since man is more powerful than money, whoever has money, the money can give it a positive or negative charge. Just like a knife is not dangerous, it can cut bread or stab someone. The intent of the person holding the knife determines its use. You are a spiritual being having a human experience, and you have been charged with the task of bringing heaven on earth. Heaven is the greatest good that we can see for ourselves and others in our mind, and we are here to bring that's our mental experience of life, and we're here to bring that vision into a material reality, which is earth. Okay. Money or stored energy is an inert spiritual substance that you have the power to charge positively or negatively with your emotion and intention. The highest positive emotion you can charge it with is love, right? And earlier this week we talked about the desire out of alignment with God is lust, and desire in alignment with God is love. And since God is love, as in 1 John 4:8, we shall lead with love as we charge forward in righteousness. The role of the rich and righteous is to positively charge as much money as possible, which will result in an economy based on righteousness. The negative folks don't fear the positive folks. The negative folks, they don't fear us right now because the positive folks have negative cash flow. Because we haven't reconciled our relationship with money, the negative folks don't really care about us. So it's not about who's right or wrong. They're just negative, meaning that their actions are actually diminishing and giving us a less rich and more poor experience of life. They may be getting materially richer, but we as a collective are having a poorer experience of life. We know that I am come that they might have life and have it more abundantly. When we take action, when we create, when we use money, we use it to create a richer experience, not just for ourselves, but for everyone. So the negative folks don't fear the positive folks because the positive folks have a negative cash flow. And it is hard to stay positive when your cash flow is negative. Yes, you heard me correctly. It is hard to stay positive when your cash flow is negative. And so this is why we have to change our relationship with money. You often hear the term money laundering in a negative context to describe people cleaning illegal money by circulating it into legitimate businesses. But the rich and righteous are meant to be money launderers too, by positively charging as much money as we possibly can according to the 7-point money maximization matrix. So we are supposed to launder money. We are supposed to make money good. Right? There's a subconscious underlying narrative in the collective consciousness that money is evil and money is bad. But we as the rich and righteous are here to demonstrate and show that money is good. Why? Because I make it so. Right? I make good money and I make money good. I make good money and I make money good. I make good money and I make money good. That is what we are here to demonstrate, okay? And so I know that was a short reading, but I really want you just to understand the electrical nature of money. When we can see it in that way and you hear it in the language patterns, charge my card, debit is a charge, credit is a charge, right? You start to understand that money is energy. It is an electrical magnetic substance, and when we are able to see it as such, see it for its true nature, then we can operate it and work with it in its true nature. And so if you have an old electrical engineering book or physics book or anything like that, I encourage you to pick it up and just flip to a random page and see if what you see on that page in terms of the lesson there actually applies to energy and how it actually correlates to money, because we have to understand we are in a physical universe, and so we are within these constructs, these universal laws, some of them being physical laws like gravity. And again, if we can understand those laws and apply them to another form of energy, then it'll make it easier for us to master this form of energy as well. Okay, and so we're gonna be short today. It is Wealthy Wednesdays. Normally we go for about 30 minutes or more, but this was only 3.5 pages. Tomorrow we're going to be on day 65, and we're going to talk about how to become more attractive. How to become more attractive. And I don't mean just in the physical sense. I'm talking about energetically. But guess what? When you're energetically more attractive, guess what happens? Physically, you also appear more attractive. And so that's what we'll be talking about tomorrow. So pull up at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As I said before, Rich and Righteous graduation is on December 9th. I look forward to seeing you. I've seen some people post their plane tickets in the group. They're flying in from all over just to be part of this community, to see who you've been talking to in the chats all along, and build community. This is a vision and a movement. We are seeking to become the world's wealthiest family, right? That's 100,000 families with $1 million net worth. That would be $100 billion. That would make us the 5th wealthiest family in the world today. And this is the beginning of it. This is the beginning. It's actually starting in our mind. It's not figuring out what's the best stock to invest in, what's the best business model. It's actually starting to dig in and excavate the wealth that is within us. You have a gold mine. The gold is inside of you already. And what we're doing is we are digging it out. We are cultivating it, right? And then from there, we put it out into the world. And so the wealth that is going to come to us is going to come to us in so many different ways. But remember, our job is not the how. Our job is figuring out what and why, and that's going to require us to create bigger visions for ourselves that aren't just confined to our own life, right, which is our vision boards and our families, but actually expand. How can I be of the greatest service possible to as many of the children of God as possible, to my brothers and sisters. What life experience have I had that I've learned from that I can now share with other people to help them overcome that thing? We also have to get very comfortable with selling, right? Many of us have a negative relationship not only to money, but also to selling. And when you don't know how to sell, you actually repel. When you don't know how to sell, you actually repel money from your life. And so last week we talked about my definition of sales being sales is simply the process of getting someone to accept help. So these are the things that we are working on to reconcile and change our relationship to money. We've had an inverted and perverted relationship with money, but we want to have the healthiest relationship with it possible, because money is going to be in our life until the day that we die. And we want to understand what its true purpose is. We want to understand its nature, and we want to become more attractive to it so that it is in our gravitational pull and in our gravitational orbit naturally, right? Without us ever having to think about it or chase it or anything like that. We just want it to be part of our experience, but we get who we are, not what we want. And so we are changing our being, right? We're changing our beliefs. And we know that as a result of doing that consistently over this 100-day period, then we'll start to see new manifestations in our life, more abundance in our life. And again, money, even though we're talking about it in this financial form, wealth comes to us in many different ways. I want you to have an abundance of money. I want you to have abundance of love. I want you to have abundance of health. I want you to have abundance of friendships. I want you to have abundance of millionaire moments, right? So abundance comes in many different forms, and I hope you're starting to see the abundance that is already in your life. And then, of course, we just magnify those conditions so that more and more abundance comes in, all right? So this is what we are up to, family. And if you don't know, you're part of something very powerful. This vision of 100,000 families, $1 million net worth, it's a 30-year vision, right? This is a big vision. And fortunately, I've been free enough financially to be able to think about this larger problem that we have as a collective and as a community. And 100,000 people in the context of the entire world, that's not a lot of people, right? We just want to be this demonstration. We want to be this demonstration of what it looks like for 100,000 families to come together, to be aligned mentally and in wealth consciousness, and see what that creates. I don't even know what that's going to mean, what that's going to create, what that's going to do, what that's going to mean for our kids and generations after generations. But I know that it's going to be powerful. I want to see each and every one of you walking in your God-given purpose every single day. Why? Because I know that the world will be better because of it. Some of you are playing and sitting in seats that you are not supposed to be in. And while you may be making good money, I'm here to show you that, guess what? There's even more in store for you when you move your life more in alignment with God, when you're walking in your purpose. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. I'm seeking to be a living demonstration of what it means to embody this financial philosophy and these principles, and I put it in this book so that I could share it with you to show you how I've created, or how there's the creator, and I have created, obviously, but how this wealth has come into my life and how it's enriched my experience. This is a completely different paradigm and way of approaching money than anything that's out there. The culture will say, work harder, go get the highest paying job, climb the corporate ladder. And some people are going to stay on that path, and that's perfectly fine. But for those of you who are ready, we are seeking to try a different model and actually have a quantum leaps in our financial life by accepting a new paradigm and a new way to relate to, first and foremost, our creator, ourselves, and then of course this substance that we call money. All right. So I wish you a great day. I'm going to let you go early today, and we'll be back here at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, and we will be discussing how to become more attractive. All right. So again, be God to yourself, family. Love yourself as God loves you. Right. Be master over yourself in the way that God is master over you. And remember that no individual, institution, or situation outside of yourself has more power over the future of your life than you. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Much love. Peace.